Although relationships are about people, not money, you should end one if you notice any of these 10 symptoms, even if it's just a romantic one. Avoid those who don't spend money on themselves, their family, or close friends first. These are people who claim that the first thing they say to someone when they meet them is that they don't have money. If they are truly impoverished, that's understandable, but otherwise they usually go after their goals and enjoy life to the fullest, only claiming to be broke when they meet you. Terminate the relationship with them right once. In order for a relationship to continue a long time, both parties must be kind to one another. But since they are attempting to take advantage of me, a good relationship can never be formed. Secondly, stay away from persons who frequently stay away from people who constantly argue and choose sides. These individuals are hard to avoid because they never stop arguing about things that don't need to be argued about. Additionally, after they argue with someone else, they push themselves to take the side that they believe is right, which causes problems for other people. Even if every individual is priceless, the amount of people we can meet in life is really limited. If you meet a buddy who often picks fights and sides in these kinds of arguments, your friendship will end because disagreements are never constructive for people. A smart person never gets into emotional arguments with others. If you observe those who argue frequently, you will notice that they lack emotional self-control, are constantly disputing with others, rarely own up to their mistakes, and have very haughty dispositions. Someone who demands to be taken side in a disagreement and believes they are right is conceited and self-righteous. They just want to have their way and are not the suitable person to force their opinions on others. If you are someone who gets into arguments frequently, you should examine yourself. Third, stay away from persons who take advantage of other people. Worries of other people's worries light in this world. Heavy worries and light worries do not exist independently, and because life's weight is relative, each individual experiences it differently. Despite this, there's no need to keep worrying or happiness with friends who prioritize their own concerns over those of others. A person who respects only himself and does not respect others is worse than none. Regardless of the nature of the other person, you can only truly open your heart to them if you respect them as unique individuals. Saying thank you from your heart when you're grateful is not a thank you greeting. Rather, saying thank you when you're glad and sorry when you're sorry is the cornerstone of a healthy relationship. This is the simplest method to show others that you appreciate them. Avoid those who lack thankfulness, show others gratitude, and rejoice when you witness someone joyful. Reassure them when you witness someone grieving. A person who takes pleasure in the pain of others is inconsiderate toward them. Enjoying the immoral. The actions of others are more sinister and depraved than immoral actions. Therefore, you shouldn't rejoice in their pain and misfortune. Stay away from people who impose their political or religious views on you or others. Fourth, stay away from people who uphold your political or religious views. People cannot all be the same. In the end, relationships are about acknowledging each other's differences and learning to value one another. As such, regardless of how beneficial it may be to you, you should never impose your political or religious beliefs on others. It is exhausting to constantly interact with such people, and in actuality, conflicts arise from strong beliefs in human relationships. Wise people never engage in needless arguments with people who violate others' pride on any subject. Winning a debate with someone in depth is only a temporary solution. Victory, but the joy of that victory never lasts. In addition, the biggest issue is that I gained that victory at the expense of upsetting other people's pride. Because you gained that victory by taking other people's faces, you run the risk of inciting resentment from your opponent and suffering a great deal one day. Prevent the fifth friend disaster. When you meet a friend, It's fun at first, but the more people you meet, the more fun it gets. If you think that friend doesn't suit you, you can take it as a sign that you need to work out your relationship, because over time that friend has changed, and you must have changed a lot too. There were a lot of similarities between that friend and the friends we met. But as time went on, the people we met changed, and our lives diverged. For this reason, even though it may be difficult and annoying for you to meet new people, it's likely that your friend will feel the same way. Since relationships are two-way, not one-way, it would be wise for both of you to consider gradually separating from each other little by little. Sixth, stay away from people who still confronting the truth in a relationship can be difficult, especially when it means letting go of illusions we are attached to, but it is a necessary step for personal development and for creating healthier, more realistic relationships. Dissatisfaction stems from our constant pursuit of something that is not in line with reality. It is important to recognize the warning indications that a relationship is more illusion than reality, as the Stoics teach us to accept truth, cope with things as they are, and seek serenity within that understanding. We can rediscover our path to a more genuine and fulfilling life by acknowledging and removing ourselves from such dynamics and living by the Stoic principles of acceptance and objective comprehension of reality. Remember to add a comment to help more people see this material. Please feel free to like and subscribe to continue getting stuff that will support your mental development. Together, let's move forward. The seventh, if your morals are being compromised, living stoically and in accordance with one's own values is essential to Stoicism and serves as a cornerstone for a meaningful life. When we find ourselves in relationships that require us to compromise or betray our values, we are presented with a difficult choice that requires serious thought and reconsideration. When a relationship requires us to give up or disregard our personal values, it not only undermines our integrity, but can also cause us to feel deeply uncomfortable and dissatisfied. Personal values serve as an internal compass that directs our decisions, actions, and interactions with the world around us. A relationship that requires betrayal of values can take many different forms. It could include pressure to behave against our moral convictions, put up with actions we find objectionable, or even require us to give up significant pieces of who we are. These compromises might first appear insignificant, but over time they can add up to a substantial amount, which can negatively impact our sense of respect and self-worth. The Stoic school of thought emphasizes the significance of leading a morally upright life. Hence, being brave enough to walk away from circumstances that take us off course and look for connections that uphold and mirror our core values. Re-evaluating a relationship in light of how well it fits with our ideals is a difficult undertaking that sometimes involves internal tensions. The eighth step toward living a truly authentic and fulfilling life is choosing paths that align with our values. Staying true to one's values is essential for mental and emotional health and is a sign of self-respect and authenticity. Therefore, it is important to be aware of how our relationships influence and reflect our values. When we realize that we are compromising our core values, we should seriously consider whether this relationship is beneficial for our personal growth and well-being. When a relationship is not mutually beneficial, reciprocity is essential to its longevity and well-being. Inequality can be detrimental and unsustainable over time when there is an imbalance where one party gives and the other gets continuously. An unequal dynamic that can result in feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and devaluation is created when one party consistently gives support while the other rarely reciprocates. This type of one-sided relationship can manifest itself in various ways, such as emotionally when one person is constantly giving support while the other rarely reciprocates, or practically when one party is always the giver and the other always the receiver. When this imbalance becomes the norm, the relationship ceases to be a partnership and becomes a burden for one of the parties. This could entail having candid discussions about requirements and expectations. When adjusting roles and responsibilities, and in some situations, evaluating the relationship's long-term sustainability, it's important to keep in mind that self-respect and self-esteem are also at risk in this situation. In order to maintain healthy and fulfilling relationships, it is crucial to pursue reciprocity. Seeking balance in a relationship is not only a matter of fairness, but also an act of self-care. Allowing oneself to constantly be in a position of giving without receiving due value and consideration can erode one's own perception of worth. Healthy partnerships encourage mutual respect, growth, and contentment for both sides. If you're enjoying this, don't pass up the chance to nurture these kinds of relationships in your life for your own well-being as well as the well-being of people you relate to. Buy the ebook right away. With the help of this booklet, you can discover how to apply age-old Stoic techniques to contemporary problems, achieve prosperity and wealth, and strengthen your bonds with others. If abuse occurs in any form, it is completely unacceptable in any relationship. Link in the pinned comment number 9. Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the value of self-respect and dignity, makes it very evident that we should never put up with damaging or abusive conduct. Abuse can take many different forms, such as verbal, physical, emotional, psychological, or even financial. Regardless of the form, it always has a severe detrimental effect on the mental, physical, and emotional well-being of the victim. Abuse relationships are typified by a dominance, intimidation, fear, and isolation pattern. Stoic philosophy encourages us to value and respect ourselves, which means realizing our inherent worth and refusing to put up with anything that jeopardizes our well-being or integrity, such as being in an abusive relationship. Acknowledging that you are in an abusive relationship is the first step in seeking help and change. Being in an abusive relationship is being in an environment that constantly devalues and dehumanizes us, which is completely contrary to what the Stoics would consider a virtuous and dignified life. It is critical to realize that abuse is never acceptable and that the abuser bears full responsibility for the abuse, not the victim. To escape this situation, the victim must acquire support from friends, family, or experts. Ation. It can be difficult and need strength and help to leave an abusive relationship, but it's an essential step to restoring your freedom, self-worth, and respect. Recognizing one's own power and value is a crucial part of the healing process from an abusive relationship. Therefore, it's critical to recognize the warning signals of abuse and act quickly to safeguard yourself. On this journey, it is imperative to align with the Stoic ideals of self-worth and self-respect. Number 10. Everyone has the fundamental right to live a life of dignity and respect, free from abuse. Effective communication is a crucial component of any healthy relationship, so when we find ourselves in circumstances where communication breaks down frequently, whether it's because it's one-sided or constantly tense, we overcome a significant barrier to harmony and understanding. Essential elements. One-sided communication, in which one partner dominates the conversation or doesn't give the other space to express themselves, creates a harmful imbalance. Misunderstandings, frustrations, and resentments frequently arise in relationships where communication is lacking. In a similar vein, communication that is characterized by ongoing disagreements and a failure to find common ground can be taxing and tiresome for Stoics. promoting the idea that we should seek understanding and peaceful dialogue, avoid needless conflicts, and foster an atmosphere of mutual respect. If effective communication is necessary to achieve these goals, then practicing active listening is essential. Harmony and balance both internally and in relationships with others. It is important to communicate in a clear, courteous manner, to be receptive to other people's opinions, and to be able to discuss issues honestly, share needs and feelings, and collaborate to create positive solutions. Maintaining healthy and effective communication is essential to the health and longevity of any relationship. This is a crucial aspect not only for individual well-being, but also for building harmonious and enriching relationships in alignment with Stoic teachings of balance and mutual understanding. When communication consistently fails and attempts to improve it are unsuccessful, it may be necessary to reassess the relationship, in some cases, seeking the help of a professional. 11th, if the partnership interferes with your peace of mind, relationships that cause ongoing internal turbulence, whether through constant conflicts, anxiety, stress, or insecurity, are at odds with the Stoic principle of seeking serenity. Serenity and inner tranquility are fundamental goals in Stoic philosophy, and their preservation is essential for a fulfilling and balanced life. When we find ourselves in relationships that constantly disturb our inner peace, it's a clear sign that these relationships need to be carefully questioned and, if necessary, re-evaluated or even terminated. A relationship that is a constant source of disturbance hinders the cultivation of this serenity and can result in a chronic state of emotional discomfort that affects not only our mental health but also our ability to enjoy life and engage in meaningful activities. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value emotional balance and maintain inner calm, even in the face of challenging external circumstances. In this situation, it's critical to evaluate how the relationship affects our well-being. This involves considering how the relationship affects us emotionally, if there is a pattern of negativity that cannot be broken, and whether attempts to improve the dynamics of the relationship have been ineffective. Stoic philosophy urges us to make decisions that are in keeping with our well-being and inner calm, which may include removing ourselves from relationships that are harmful to our tranquility. Ending a relationship is never simple, especially when strong feelings are involved. Reflecting on the profundity and wisdom of Epictetus's words, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer oneself," we understand that the end of a relationship is not a failure, but rather a courageous step toward authenticity and personal wisdom. Therefore, when facing relationships that constantly disrupt our tranquility, we should have the courage to make difficult choices, always striving for a state of inner peace and balance. Despite its challenges, this journey offers a chance for growth and a reaffirmation of our core beliefs. Please keep in mind that every decision we make, particularly those that force us to leave harmful situations, is an act of courage and deep self-respect. By embracing this Stoic journey, we can protect our well-being and pave the way for a more moral and fulfilling life. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, enable notifications, and join our community. This is just the start of an amazing journey of self-discovery and growth. I'm excited to continue our shared journey towards a deeper and more fulfilling life with you. I'll see you in the next video.